Welcome to Superhuman Selling. Today is the thing that is going to help you close the gap. That's what we're talking about. If you are someone who has maybe set big goals, maybe you're like I was years ago and you make the vision board, especially if you're listening to this in real time, it's beginning of the year. Maybe you've made your vision board and now you're sitting there looking at it and you're saying, okay, universe, where is it? I'm ready. Well, if that is you, or if that has ever been you, where you have beautiful dreams, goals, aspirations, and it seems like there's some gap between the vision that you hold and how you actually create it in real life, manifest it in real life, today's podcast is for you. One of the things that changed my life was when I learned that in life, we do not get what we want, we get what we are. And so you can say, I want $1 million business, multi-million-dollar business, my dream home, my dream car, to give and be a philanthropist. You can say that all day long. But if you are not a vibrational match, and by that, I mean how you think, how you feel, and how you act, then you're not in alignment with it yet. And so today on the podcast, I'm bringing you the third of a three-part installment that I wanted to bring to you. That's the replay of a live event that I did with two of my dear girlfriends, Michelle Chalfant and Jessica Papineau. Today, we're bringing Jessica's training to you. Jessica is a seven-figure stylist to celebrities, entrepreneurs, top personal brands, those who are earlier in their journey. And she talks today about how to close that gap between what you are envisioning in your life and in your business and what you're actually experiencing so that you can experience it in your 3D, which is what we are all here for, right? Well, we're here for the whole thing and for the journey, and it's really fun when you have that experience in your world. And so I know that you are going to so enjoy this. If today's episode or if the series resonated with you and you've heard about what we're doing in the Empire Mastermind and you want to come be a part of this, reach out to me. You can email me, Elyse@ElyseArcher.com, DM me. I'm at Elyse Archer on all platforms. We've got the 6-month mastermind open for enrollment. It is transformational for women who are really committed to building their empire in all areas this year. We also have a live event coming up, and depending on when you're listening to this, may or may not still be coming up, but send me a DM. The one that I'm referencing right now is coming up February 27th through March 1st in Sarasota, Florida, and tickets are on sale for that now. So again, DM me. I'm at Elyse Archer on all platforms. Send me an email, Elyse@ElyseArcher.com if you want to find out more about any of those opportunities. My team and I are here to help you. And without further ado, I want to get into the episode today because I know that this is going to transform your life and help you close that gap quicker than you probably think is possible. I know you'll love the episode. Welcome, welcome. Oh my goodness. You all are in for a big, big treat today. Big, big treat. We have so much transformation in store for you today. And I know that the past 2 days have already been shifting and life-changing. So as you all are coming in, it's so fun to see so many of the same names. I love how many women have committed to showing up every single day for this. Michelle and Jessica, isn't that so fun? Like, I feel like a
It's
lot of times
so
people leave it
fun.
out and
Yeah.
you see how committed everyone is here as well. We want to hear from you in the chat. What are you taking with you from yesterday? I don't know about all of you, but after Michelle's session and after how much we cleared and how deep we
Mm,
went,
mm,
I felt like I needed to go like lay down in the best in the best way possible because you see how quickly something that maybe was a lifelong challenge, whether it's
yeah.
a money issue, a wealth consciousness thing, a deservedness thing, a
Mm,
mom guilt thing, like I can't go build my empire and be a great mom. We saw that showing up some yesterday. How
mhm,
quickly that can be cleared in an instant with the right
mhm.
coaching support.
Yeah.
So we want to hear from all of you. What was your biggest takeaway from yesterday? Or it could be from this week so far, that's fine, but I'd
Mm,
love to hear what showed up yesterday.
mm.
Sherry, truly shedding
Yeah.
deep unconscious limiting belief. Yeah. And these things are, they're not conscious, right, Michelle? Like we have no idea.
No, we have no idea.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Tell
Mm-mm.
everyone about it. We're going to bridge to Jessica's teaching briefly because she's got a lot to cover today. So I want to honor that. But if someone has felt stuck for a long time, like I know for myself, I was stuck financially for over 10 years. It was like I couldn't break past a certain plateau. And I
Mhm.
felt like I was like, I know I'm meant for more. I know I'm destined for more. But no matter how hard I worked, I just felt like I couldn't break through. And then within an instant of uncovering some of those subconscious things and moving the energy, I went from 6 or 7 figures like that. How quickly do you see transformation for some people when they're in this work? And I'm just thinking about for those who apply and are accepted in the mastermind who are doing this work on a regular basis in this group, and they're going to be doing this plus expansion, plus embodiment. But how
Mm.
quickly is it possible for us to change things that may have felt like lifelong
Mhm.
limitations that we just thought we were
Mhm.
stuck with?
Mhm.
Are you
That's it.
asking?
I'm asking
Yeah.
Michelle.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were asking the people in the
It's like,
chat.
no. It's all good.
I'm like, who's going to answer that one?
You,
So the
babe.
okay, that just threw my mind. So you're asking me how long it
Well,
takes?
like how quickly? Because I think
It's
that some of the
crazy.
women in here, it's like they're like
Yeah.
my whole life, this has felt like a challenge. This doesn't
Yeah.
have to be a challenge moving forward, right? Like they can walk into
Yeah.
2026, clear it. Yes?
I more than ever in the last couple of years, the energy is just so unbelievable on this planet. I have seen over again 3 decades of working with people. It doesn't take years. It takes one session, and
Mhm.
people are like, "Whoa, wait! I didn't know that that could be moved so quickly." And what happens is when you're able to release or remove that block, that limiting belief, I always get this visual of dominoes start falling. It's like everything opens up in your life. It is wild. It's so fun to watch. And people don't believe that it's this easy. And it really is.
Mm.
It really is. Yeah.
I think that's what I love about your work and about the process that the women are going to be going through in the mastermind is it is so fast. Like people think they
Very.
need years and years of therapy, and not that there's anything wrong with that, but
No.
you help them clear it in like an instant. Like it is, I think
Mhm.
everyone felt that yesterday, how quickly it can move. And like we spoke about yesterday, drop a one in the chat right now. If you're like, I am ready for horse year. I am ready for my empire in 2026. I am ready to go. Look at this. Everyone is ready. I love it. So like we spoke about yesterday, you can be ready. And if your body's not ready, if your nervous system is bracing, if you haven't expanded your capacity to receive, you're going to feel
Mhm.
like someone mentioned yesterday in the chat, like a lot of resistance. You're going to feel that. So that's part of why we've been very intentional about what we're creating here. And we'll share more today in the second half so you can find out how to apply and if it's right for you and if you're right for it, et cetera. But we've been very intentional about weaving in every element that is needed for a woman to truly rise up, get unstuck, get clear, and
Mhm.
truly embody her highest and best, bigger than she could imagine, like 10-year vision in 1 year in 2026. So, speaking of embodiment, I am thrilled and honored to recognize and bring up our third mentor, co-founder of the Empire, and absolutely transformational powerhouse, Jessica Papineau, for the work that you're going to take us through. And like we spoke about on Monday, the process and the flow that you're experiencing this week is also what you're going to experience in the mastermind, where we're setting the vision and anchoring into the biggest vision possible for your life in all areas: wealth, business, finance, family, travel, relationships, all of it. Then we're going to descend with Michelle and help you clear anything that would stand in the way, help you expand your nervous system to be available to receive, become a vibrational match for it. And then from there, with Jessica, you're ascending, you're starting to embody. And Jessica's approach to ascension is so unique. And drop a two in the chat if you've worked with Jessica before, if you know her magic. I know we got a lot of people in here um, who know her magic, and it is so powerful. Jessica is not just a stylist, although that is so fun. And outfit today brought to you by SJ Styling, but she is also a transformational coach and leader, and she does it through embodiment from outside in. And she will help you today, and for those of you who are going forward with us in the mastermind, align with your highest and best self and embody her now. And
Mhm.
one of the gifts, and I'm going to shut up because I'm going to talk. I just want to say this and I'm going to let you go. One of the gifts Jessica has is when you are working with her and in her presence, you will suddenly be like, well, of course I'm a
Mhm.
top keynote speaker. Of course I make multi-millions. Of course I can be a badass, incredible mama and build my business empire. It's an of course. It's like all the limitations dissolve in that energy. And so you've got a beautiful gift. I cannot wait to learn from you today. I know everyone can't wait to learn from you. So with that, I want to turn it over to you to share your brilliance with the group.
Thank you so much, Elyse. And I'm just so excited to be here. This is just incredible. And I'm so happy that you all came back again today. We've got lots of people in here. Wow. I mean, I feel like I've been experiencing my own transformations going through this process. And it's so interesting to me that, so many people think that they can't collapse time. They have this 10-year plan and they can't even imagine that they could condense that into a year or into 6 months. But here's the thing. This is the really cool, interesting thing is that I think oftentimes, and I know I've felt this way in my life too, when we think about shedding, when we think about releasing, we also think about, as Michelle talks about, shining that light, that flashlight on the pain, right? Because typically it's pain that we need to let go of. It's limiting beliefs. It's these lies that we've been holding on to for a long time. And as we start to ease in and lean in and shine that light, it's really painful. It really hurts. But here's the beautiful thing about it. So those of you that have done some of this work in the past, or even just the work that we did yesterday with Michelle, feeling the feeling of moving through it, and then your brain knows once you've gone through it one time, it only takes one time to have this transformation. Once you move through it, on the other side is bliss, it's joy, it's freedom, and it's the horse is over there. The horse is over there. So I just want to begin just sharing a little bit about myself. A lot of you that are in here, you probably know my story, but I'm just going to kind of give you that high level of who I am and what it is that I do. I have a very unique approach. And, as a fashion stylist and a transformational coach, if you think about it, those two things together sound a little odd. It's like what she does the outside. What do you mean she goes inside too? And really, clothing is the vehicle. The fashion is the vehicle for what it really is. And I have an ability to truly see women. I'm like a mirror. I'm like a mirror. So when those of you that know me, that have been through some of my programs that are in my mastermind, know that I have this ability. And I've this past year really claimed that. And my business is very unique. As you know, I spoke of the other day. I really have built an empire, and I'm claiming that now. This business was built on an idea. This business was built on a knowing and a creation in my mind of what I knew women needed. And so, my unique story, I grew up with no electricity, no running water, no television. We had an outhouse. In fact, my job from a very early age, I think I was probably 6, 7, 8, I can't quite remember, but I would take a pea potty out to an outhouse every morning when I would get up. And we had one wood burning stove to heat that house. And you may, be a little, those of you that haven't heard my story, it probably sounds a little shocking. This girl living off the land, she becomes a fashion stylist and builds an empire. What? And so, really, what it came down to is that from this very early age, and I can remember back till I was 3, I was about 3, 4 years old, and literally I had a knowing. It was like a knowing. And I believe everyone has that knowing if you really kind of go back and tap back into that remembering of who you are. But I remember that knowing. And, my parents didn't want me in my closet doing fashion things, but I would spend hours in my closet trying on clothes, looking in the mirror. And these were Salvation Army clothes, but I made them look good. I remember grabbing my mom's scarves and making belts out of them and putting on like work boots with a t-shirt with a scarf around the t-shirt, make it like this little skirt. And I would look in the mirror and I would pretend that I was anywhere but where I was. And so what I did from a very early age, and this really is my superpower, is I really leaned into my imagination. It was my escape. It was my way of not living the way that I was living. And not only was I living off the land, I was living in an abusive household. And so I used and leveraged my ability to see and to look in a mirror and look at myself, and I would see my beauty reflected back at me. I really could see it. And I could see these people around me in the mirror. They were all in the mirror. They were my friends. And we would dance and play, and I was included, and I was so brilliant and creative, and it was a magical space. But I don't know how many of you, when you really sit with yourselves and think about that place, because we all have it. It may look different to each of you. How many of you remember or have a moment where you feel that left you, or that you feel that it was taken away, or that what you loved became something that other people didn't think you should be doing? Because I remember that day. I remember the day my dad coming in my closet, coming in my room with my mom, and I had been warned many, many times about making this mess in my closet, about looking in a mirror. I was slowly learning that mirrors were superficial, that we shouldn't be looking in them. We should be outside, weeding the garden, canning the vegetables in the fall, all of these things. And so when my dad came in that day with the padlock, that day was a day that I shut off a piece of myself. I was 4 years old. I remember the day like it was yesterday. And I know all of you probably have these moments. Some of you may not be tapped into that moment, or perhaps yesterday was a day where you did tap into it. And maybe it really, really hurts, right? And it feels raw. Maybe you're feeling really vulnerable today. Um, but here's what happened. So my dad went to put the padlock on the door of my closet, and I threw myself on the floor and I said, "Daddy, no, no, please, no." And he didn't. He didn't. But I do remember, even though that lock didn't go on the closet, there was a lock that was put inside me, where that fire was, where that knowing was. And what happened was I kept on with that knowing. I continued to use that mirror because that mirror helped me to live in the world. It helped me to get up every day, helped me to look at myself and all my beauty and start my day and imagine and know that I was meant for more. When I was 16 years old, by this point, my parents had divorced, and I had an opportunity. And I don't know how many of you, if you think about it, you think about building an empire, and you think, well, in order to build an empire, I have to have opportunity, right? And how many of you out there have ever felt like, why won't someone just see me, right? Why won't they choose me? How many of you have felt like, you just want somebody else to validate your worth, for someone to say you're important, what you love matters? I felt that way for so long in my life where I felt like I just wish someone would see me. I have this gift. Can't you see it? Can't you know it like I know it? And I remember thinking that I had to look outside myself for someone to choose me. But now, what I've realized, and I'll continue the story, but I just want to share this with all of you, and I hope this resonates. I thought it was outside that someone had to choose me for me to feel chosen. And what I've learned in building my empire is that no one was going to save me. No one was going to choose me until I chose myself. And I remember the first time I chose myself was at 16 years old when I had this opportunity that changed the course of my entire life. I would not be here today had I not made this choice. And I got on an airplane and I went to another country. My parents had divorced. My dad was an abuser. He abused my mom. My mom could not handle me at 16. She could not handle me. She was so controlling. I hope she doesn't watch this YouTube back, but she probably will. But it's true. It's the truth. And she couldn't handle me. So she let me go on that airplane. I said, I want to go, Mom. I want to go and I want to work retail. I want to dress other women. I want to watch other women in a mirror transform. I knew that's what I was meant to do. And so I remember getting to Winnipeg and I was so excited to be there. And my dad was actually really excited to see me. And very quickly I signed up for school. It was August. I was signing up for school and I was going to go to this new school at 16 in this new country. But the very first thing I did was I typed up a resume on an old typewriter. I woke up the next morning, I put on my skirt suit. So this is 1993. And this is a year when, this was a time when women were like putting on this suiting. It was very stiff. There was this masculine feeling around it. But I remember, putting on a scarf with it and some necklaces with my skirt suit and putting on my nylons and my pumps. And for the very first time, getting on a city bus. And I took two buses. I don't know how I made it there because I didn't even know how to get off the bus until I saw someone pull the handle and the ding, and then they got off, and I'm like, oh, that's how I do it. So I get there. It's Polo Park. It's the biggest mall. And I go into every store with my resume with such excitement, not realizing that the resume that I had of picking strawberries in the summer and painting houses and doing construction with my stepdad and babysitting and mother's helper. And I had all these jobs. I had worked from the time I was 8 years old, but my resume was void of experience when it came to fashion and retail. So I was not getting anyone biting on hiring me until I went into the last store in the mall, the very last one. It was on the top floor in the furthest corner in this little nook. And I walked in and I saw it. It was women suiting everywhere. And I thought, okay, this is my chance. This is my chance. And my feet were sore and I was sweating and I wiped my brow and I walked through the store and I walked to the back of the store and there's a woman standing there and I said, "Hi, I'm Jessica. I really, really love fashion and I want to work here." And she looked at my resume and she saw my face. And when someone gives you that opportunity, and I know you've each probably had times in your life, and it was like in an instant, and they probably don't know to this day that they helped you on the course of your journey in your life. But she gave me the opportunity. She said, "You don't have any experience, although I can feel your excitement, and let's give it a try." But here's the thing I didn't know when I got that job. So I go into the first day, and what happened was I had been hired at a woman's plus size clothing store, and the women didn't want my help. So again, where I thought I belonged, I wasn't chosen. In fact, they would put their hand up at me when they would walk in the store and they would say, "No, thank you. I don't need your help." So instead of dressing them, I would close my eyes and I would dress them in my mind. And I picked up every article of clothing in my mind and I dressed each woman that walked in that store. And one day, and I know I'm talking fast now because I really want to get through the story, so I can get to the other side and share what happened. But this woman walks in one day, and the same thing happened that had happened before. And the hand goes up, and she gathers all these clothes, and she goes in the fitting room. And I remember when she walked in, how intimidated I was when she said no. And she walked in, and she left all the clothes in the fitting room. And she had come out of the room, the fitting room, one time, and I saw her in the mirror. And I peered in as she was looking in the mirror, and she wasn't intimidating. In fact, she was looking at all of the areas that she despised about herself, that she was shameful of. And I looked in the mirror and I couldn't believe that this woman was feeling this way. And I remember thinking, I have to make my own opportunity here. And she went to leave the store, leaving all the clothes in the fitting room. And I said, "Wait." And she turned around and I said, "My name is Jessica. What's your name?" And she said, "I'm Kathy." And I said, "Kathy, I know you had a reason for coming here today, and clearly it didn't work out for you, and you really didn't want my help. But what do you have to lose at this point? Give me a chance, Kathy." And I drew Kathy back into the store and I took her in the fitting room. And with all of the pieces that I had imagined her in, I put them in the fitting room and I told her to start with this one outfit. And she came out and it was a pair of like pull-on trouser pants, navy blue, and the little shell that went with it that was also navy blue. And she went to look in the mirror and I said, "No, Kathy, don't look in there yet." And she goes, "I don't think I can do this." And I said, "Oh, yes, you can." And I grabbed this long duster sweater and I put it on her. I stood in front of her so she couldn't see in the mirror. And I took this long scarf and I put it on her, and it had all beautiful colors in it, the blues and the purple and the red. And I grabbed this long necklace and put it on her and made her put on a belt. She goes, "I am not wearing a belt." Those of you that have worked with me know that if you're going to work with me, you're wearing that belt and you're highlighting your waist, and we are not hiding a thing. So I put the shoes on her, these pointed toe little, they weren't little, they were stilettos. And I went to move from where I was standing so that she could actually see herself in the mirror. And I peered in and I saw her and she looked in the mirror and I watched her eyes. They changed and they went from the tip of her toes and I saw them go all the way to the top of her head and move back down, and they locked in. And she was looking at her own eyes and they filled with tears. And she turned her body towards me. And by this point, her lip was quivering. There were tears streaming down her face. And she said, "I've never felt this way. I feel beautiful. I actually feel pretty. I don't know where you came from, kid, but you have a gift. Thank you." And she left that day, and I never knew what happened with Kathy, but I do know what has happened with many women that I've worked with since then. And, if you want, let's fast forward. So I'm not going to share all the in-between story, but living in Winnipeg, my dad was abusing me. I became the one that he was abusing, no longer my mom. And I continued to use clothing. I would get up every day. I would suit up. I would dress. Then I could have a shower. I could wash my hair in the morning. I have a hot shower and we had all the amenities, and I could curl my hair and put my makeup on. And I remember going to school for the day, and I had stepped into the woman that I was becoming, that I knew that fire in me. It never left me. I may not have shared it with everyone. I protected it. There were times where I wanted to be invisible. I didn't want my dad. I don't know if anyone has ever felt this way, but I didn't want my dad to see me. I wanted to be invisible in the room so he couldn't hurt me. But in the mirror, I could pretend I could be that woman that I knew I was meant to be. And I met my husband in Winnipeg. I'm fast forwarding, trying to talk fast here, Elyse, so we don't. So I meet my husband, my beautiful husband, who I'm still married to today. Told him this morning that he actually saved me. But anyway, I'm not going to get emotional. Ah, so we have our first child and decided to move to the United States. Again, opportunity. It was an opportunity, right? We were going to America. So we leave Canada. We have a 2-year-old son, and we buy this beautiful home, and we spend all our money from Canada, and the dollar wasn't very good back then, and my husband gets a job. 2011, the market has crashed, and I remember the day my husband came home and he lost his job. They were, restructuring the company, and he no longer had a job, and we had no savings. Everything came crashing down. By the grace of God, we stayed in our home. The kids were on Medicaid, and we were on food stamps. And again, the opportunity that I thought I had, my life was mirroring back to me everything that had happened before. And I remember the feeling of having to fight, right? And so the days, when we had to go to the grocery store, and we had the EBT card, which, gosh, that was humiliating, but we had to use it. And I had another opportunity came up. I had an opportunity to get a job at a boutique in a woman's clothing store, a very high-end boutique. And I had had years of retail experience before, but I had been home with the kids for a long time. And so the owner of this boutique was only willing to pay me $10 an hour. And at this point, my husband had been taking courses, gone back to school, and he went back to school to be an insurance agent, and we had to pay a babysitter $12 an hour. And you may ask me, why would I take a $10 an hour job and you're paying a babysitter $12 an hour? Well, again, I'm going to tell you that fire inside me, that knowing, that remembering of who I was and what I was put here to do, that's why I went and I did that job. And over the course of 8 years, I built a business that was just under $1 million to a $3 million machine. Women all over the country coming to see me. I was transforming women's lives. I was watching them come in, and I was taking articles of clothing just as I had done with Kathy, and I was dressing them. And in an instant, they were seeing themselves in a mirror. They were seeing possibility. They were realizing who they were, embodying the woman that they were inside. And I did this on a daily basis. And over the course of 8 years, I was driving to work. I was driving to work one day, and I realized that I was only getting a slice of the pie, right? That I was watching these women transform, and I was feeling amazing for them, but I was only getting a little piece. And I thought to myself, wait, I want more. I deserve more. And I was at a stoplight, and I was listening to a podcast. And you know how sometimes you hear something, but you've heard it a bunch of times, but you hear it again and it lands for the first time. And I hear this voice. It was Tony Robbins. That guy, I mean, he just keeps right on going. I mean, he was my icon. And Tony says to me, he was talking to me, and Tony says, if you know you have a gift that changes lives, that impacts other people, and you have this very special gift and you know that you do, but you choose out of fear not to fully lean into it, you are actually a selfish person. And I thought, what? What is he talking about? That doesn't make any sense to me. Why is he telling me this? I'm not selfish. I'm transforming women's lives. I'm serving my family. I'm bringing home, whatever I can to support my family. And in that instant, he said, the reason why you're selfish is because when you have a gift like this and you choose not to share it with the world in this very deep way, you are preventing those that are meant to experience these transformations to never have the ability to transform their lives, to never have the ability to experience true joy. And that's when I knew. And in that instant, I had a knowing. I walked into the store that day and my lens had changed and everything looked small. Everything was miniature. I thought that store was so big. It had departments in it. I mean, the store was huge and it was no longer huge. It was small. And I surrendered that day. I surrendered. So I've talked about a couple things here. I've talked about remembering. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my RISE framework. Remembering who you are, imagining what you desire and who you're meant to be, and seeing yourself in that light, because I did my whole life. I got up, I suited up, and I showed up for everyone who needed me. And then surrender. And that was the day I surrendered. I surrendered, and what I built and what I imagined after that, it all came true. But I can tell you, all those women that were in that store, there were 25 women that I managed and the store owner, and they all turned on me. And they turned on me when I gave my notice. That the day I gave my notice, no one spoke to me again. In fact, the owner asked me to leave. And I thought, gosh, I thought I had this opportunity, and now I'm they're not choosing me. In fact, they're leaving me. And then I realized I had to stay in my surrender with my knowing that I had to transform at this deep level and impact these people. And the very first day that I went out there and served it was a client and her husband. I brought them into a boutique in local Sarasota, Florida. And the owner of the boutique told me that whatever I sold this woman that day, she would pay me commission. And that was such a fun day. And I got to dress my client who had always come into the other boutique, but I couldn't bring her there. And the boutique owner took me in the back of the store after I had one of the biggest sales. And made this woman, and her husband was so happy. He saw how happy his wife was. And the boutique owner handed me a check. I said, thank you. And I went to say goodbye to these clients, and they handed me a wad of cash. And I got in my car and I looked down and I opened the check and I looked at the wad of cash, and together it was $1,500. And I had made $1,500 in 4 hours. And I looked up and I said, thank you. Thank you for the sign, because I had chosen myself. And in choosing myself and in that surrender, I got the sign. Because that $1,500 was the exact same amount of money that I made at the boutique of 2 weeks working at that boutique for 10 to 12 hours a day. And I thought, here we go. Giddy up. Giddy up, let's go. And let me tell you, ladies, my income, and I don't talk about my income. Elyse has stretched me talking about my income, because I capped out at 80 grand at that boutique one year. And I thought, with all the bonuses and all, and I was like the most incredible salesperson, but I was not selling anything. I was transforming women's lives. I was helping them embody who they were designed to be. And I remember capping out at 80 grand, saying to myself, how could I possibly duplicate this? And there I was with this $1,500 in my hand. And I thought, everything I believed up until that moment, I realized was a lie. And I don't know how many of you here today have had, have had some transformations over the last couple days, but I can tell you that I'm sure there are some of you that are now questioning, right, your beliefs, because I know I did, and I no longer believed that again a day in my life. And let me tell you, I've had a milestone this year, and I'm now making I built a seven-figure business by myself on an idea, doing something that people told me I couldn't do. I'm a fashion stylist. I own a boutique. The boutique is in my home. I envisioned it in my home. People told me I couldn't do it. People told me I couldn't buy my own, buy clothing lines and sell them to people and be able to move enough product to be a boutique, be a fashion stylist, be a leader of women, help other women all over the world to step into their power. I have women now that after a matter of 6 months of working with me have doubled their income. And these are women, high, powerful, performing women that are bumping up against this belief system. And I've shown them how to get up every day, how to suit up, how to invest in themselves in this most powerful way and do it with a consistent action. And in taking that action every day, they are scared, just like I was. They are scared. But you know what? I hold the container because of everything that I have gone through in my life, because I chose the short straw. I had someone tell me that. I had my soul blueprint by a very good friend of mine, and she told me I picked the short straw, and I said, oh my gosh, this makes so much sense. And you know why I picked that short straw? So that I could build resilience, so that I could be here today to support all of you, to be a part of these two incredible women that together we have come together, and we are going to give you something that is you don't even know what you have signed up for, ladies. You don't even know, but I want you to take yourselves to a place of imagining, okay? Imagine what it could be, and it will be. I promise you it will be. Elyse, do I have time to do a very quick guided meditation?
You do. Absolutely. Let's do it.
Okay, am I way past time
No,
here?
you've got about 5-ish minutes. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is so
Did you
good.
just demonstrate collapsing time for us?
Yeah, I did.
This
I
is how it
bent
works.
it. I bent it. Okay.
And you're getting a quick question. Oh, what is the E in Rise? Empire. Oh, I like that question. I don't think it's Empire, but okay, we'll answer later. Keep going.
Okay, I'm sorry. I can't see without my glasses on. I'm going to put my glasses on to read this. Okay, so I'm going to take you ladies on a ride. You ready? Buckle up. I want you to all take a really deep breath in through your nose. Close your eyes. Take a slow, deep breath in. Hold, and then gently exhale through your mouth. Again, inhale. And with your exhale, let your shoulders drop. One more time. Inhale, softening your body, and exhale, releasing all tension. Feel the ground supporting you. Feel the chair beneath you. You are safe. You are present. Now I want you to imagine a mirror in front of you. Look into your own reflection. Notice your expression, your posture, your clothing. How do you feel as you see yourself? Does your outer appearance reflect the woman you truly are inside? Or is there a gap? Breathe into the truth of what you see without judgment. With your next inhale, find yourself sitting in the audience of a grand theater. The room hums with anticipation. On a stage, you see her, your highest, most radiant self. Notice her presence, her clothes, the way she holds herself in the light. Every word she speaks lands deeply. The audience softens, laughs, or even sheds tears. She is magnetic, and she is you. Now gently rise from your seat and walk towards that stage. Climb the steps, 1, 2, and step into her body. Feel yourself become her. Notice how the clothes fit on your skin, the fabric against your body. The beauty and the luxury of it. Notice your posture, how tall, how strong, how grounded you feel. Do you feel worthy? Do you feel powerful? Do you feel like the goddess that you are? Allow yourself to experience it fully. Beautiful, capable, magnetic, undeniable. Now, I want you to ask yourself, do I want to keep living as the woman that I saw in the mirror? Or am I ready to embody this elevated self? This version of you isn't separate. She has always been within you. With each breath, allow her confidence, her worth, her presence to root deeper into your body. Inhale from the soles of your feet to the crown of your head. Exhale, integrating this embodiment. Remember, you don't have to become her. You already are her. This is a remembering, not reaching. Take one final deep breath in, and as you exhale, gently return to the room. Wiggle your fingers and toes, and when you're ready, open your eyes. I want you to all consider something that perhaps you haven't considered before. Perhaps instead of you waiting on opportunities, perhaps the opportunity has been waiting for you this entire time. What if what you thought was true in the mirror is actually a lie? Does anyone, I don't know if we have time for this. We probably have time for maybe one person, maybe not. Elise, do we have time for one person?
Ooh, to share what showed up for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, like yeah, we do. A quick one for sure. I have chills.
Who
Hmm.
wants to come off mute? I know this takes courage, you guys.
I will.
See.
Okay.
Jessica, I've heard your story 1,000 times. And I've done that exercise more than once. Um, but I was crying because I mean, I'm stepping on a TEDx stage in March, and like I saw myself. I have my dress already, and it like before I stepped into myself, like I gave myself a hug, but like I can feel all of it. Um,
Oh,
and you have helped me. I mean, I've had a lot of mentors through this last year and a half, but yeah, that was amazing.
thank you. I love you. I'm so proud of you, Christina.
That was incredible. I have full body chills. Who else has chills right now? Everyone? You feel the energy of what's possible. I'm just checking the chill. Look at this. And Sarah, to what you shared, you said you feel far away from the women on the stage, but you feel lit up or fired up anyway. This is what I want you to know. It
Mm.
doesn't matter how far away you feel from that. The fact that you feel fired up, it's because it's for you. It's
Mm.
because it's for you. Anything any of you have heard this week, whether in our stories, anyone else's story, whether it's creating a 7-figure plus business or being on stages or having a top podcast, right? Michelle Chalfant, having, being a best-selling author, like anything that is speaking to you that you recognize, it's because you have the potential. It's because it's in you as well. That's the only reason it's speaking to you. Um, so Jessica, thank you.
You're
Thank you for
welcome.
that. That was
You're welcome.
incredible. Oh my gosh.
Can I say
Yeah.
one thing about that
Yes.
stage?
Yes.
So there's embodiment, and then there's we talked about descending to ascend. The
Mhm.
ascend happens when you anchor in the embodiment. But what happens is, and we're calling this a metaphorical stage, when you can then look out in the audience and receive back from them the gifts that you gave them, it amplifies everything. You rise to a level that you cannot even imagine.
Mhm.
And so I know, Elyse, you're going to share a little bit about what this container actually is for those that want to go further. But it's powerful, ladies. It's powerful.
I tell you what, as I was thinking about it this week, I was like, I want to be in this. Like, as funny as that sounds, I was looking at what we put together. I'm not even kidding you. I thought this is my dream. Like it, so I'm grateful I get to be it. But yes, oh my goodness. I want to invite you, if you are feeling the chills like me, and you feel like you've experienced at least one major shift in these past 3 days, drop a one in the chat. Yeah, like I know every single person in this room has felt that. I know I have. I know Michelle has. I know Jessica has as well. I want to invite you, drop another one in the chat if you think being in this kind of energy every day for the next 6 months would be transformational for you. Think about that. I want you to think about that every single day, being in this sort of support, this sort of container. Yes. And that's, I will tell you, and I know that Jessica and Michelle feel the same way. Like we were told to do this, not just by Laura D. We were told to do it by Laura D. But whatever your language is, God, source, universe, spirit, this has been a divine assignment. And what we know is that there are 14 women who we are meant to support in this sort of container. We don't know who it is. That doesn't even really matter. You're going to know. But we have been called to support 14 women in a really meaningful way for the next 6 months. So I want to invite you, Aguilar. I'm so glad you're excited. I know. I think that God, Source, Universe spoke to us through you as well, and you were a beautiful conduit. So we appreciate that. I want to invite you to just take a moment and close your eyes. And I want you to reflect. Look, you are not, this is not you committing to anything here. This is just you playing. It's just you having fun. This is just you envisioning, using your imagination like Jessica so powerfully does. I just want to invite you to close your eyes and imagine your life 6 months from now. If you were fully supported, fully resourced, fully held in this type of a container. All right. I want you to think about what is different when you have true transformation happening from all angles. Who are you embodying? You think about how you're showing up physically, emotionally, energetically, in your business, in your life. I want you to think about what would be far easier, what would change, what would shift, what would grow, what might you release. And I want you to take a moment and you can open your eyes and just write down whatever showed up for you there, whatever transformation you connected with when you think about being held in this type of a container. Michelle, Jessica, myself, 14 women who are all ascending in the same way. Nothing is too big. This is something I really want to drive home as you're reflecting and thinking. Nothing is too big. No amount of business success, financial growth, personal goals. The intention behind this is to create a space and a container that is far greater than where you may feel you are right now so that you can grow and expand into it. Taking another deep breath. And as you connect with that transformation, just tune into the feeling of it. I'm going to be quiet for just a minute as you keep connecting with it. And I want to invite you as you write it down and as you feel it more deeply, share in the chat, whether it's a phrase, like I think I would double my business. I think I would quadruple 10x my business. I think I would be on stages. I think I would launch my top podcast. I think I would heal generational trauma. I think I would step into more powerful motherhood for my kids than I've ever stepped into before. What shows up for you when you think about this type of support and this type of container for the next 6 months? And one thing I want to say too, while you were writing and thinking about it, I was feeling this, Jessica, while you were teaching earlier, and we saw this throughout the week. Raise your hand if you're a mama or a grandmama or you. So not every woman in here is, and that's beautiful. Whatever your path is beautiful there. I know every woman has a different path. I know a lot of times women who have limiting beliefs about I can't build an empire and be an incredible mom. I will tell you what, the best thing you can do for your kids is model what it's like when you fully go for it. And I am lit up, and I know Jessica and Michelle are too, about supporting women to play full out, to experience the fullness of who they are, and in turn create generational change for their kids, and family trauma and family dynamics of scarcity, and model totally different things for your kids, shifting limiting beliefs for generations. For like, I do this work for my kids. I build a multi-million-dollar business for my kids, and I'm present with them. There is a way to do it. All right. You do not have to trade one or the other. And if maybe you're not a mama, but you're thinking, well, building an empire. Oh, it's going to require me to hustle. I think that, Kayla, you may have mentioned that the other day. It's going to require me to hustle and grind. No, I'm not available for hustle. Jessica and Michelle, are either of you available for hustle? I know you're not. I know Michelle's like out on the kayak in the lake, like channeling and connecting. Jessica's living the most beautiful lifestyle. Like, we are not available for hustle. That is not what this is about. We are inviting and creating a container where you get to build your empire with ease. That is what we are being called to right now. I'm just going to check in the chat. Christina, okay, through the mastermind, I will create a ripple effect through my whole family for years to come. Holy moly. I want to just take a moment and acknowledge you for that. Jessica, Michelle, when you think about the work you do you also do it for your kids? Like, I know you do.
Oh,
I'll just invite you
oh
to.
my gosh.
Yeah,
I have incredible stories about, I know your kids are younger, Elise, but
yeah,
everything that you're doing now, I mean, what they mirror back to you when, at all those times when you're thinking that you're hurting them by taking time, building the thing, and
yeah,
they're watching you. It is caught, not taught. I mean, yes, it's
yeah.
taught as well, but they watch you, and my kids are modeling incredible things now. They don't have scarcity. They're building their own empires, and they're young.
Yeah.
I love it
Michelle.
when my kids now will say, whenever I do my work or my
Mhm.
husband does his work, they'll say, "Thank you for clearing that for us." Because as we
Mm.
know, and I say the same
Yeah,
thing to them, and I'm like, "Thank you. We're creating a ripple." So
yeah,
when
Mhm.
we do our work, remember, ladies, it's 7 generations before and behind us. So past and future, we're clearing it. We're
mm,
clearing. The word that keeps coming up is generational trauma. I have
yeah,
heard it from so many of you today, and I hear it on a regular basis. This is what we are clearing. And I have goosebumps as I'm saying that.
yeah,
Like, this is it. We are rising. I almost feel like I keep getting the visual of the phoenix rising. Like, we're rising out of the ashes. It is our time to rise.
yeah,
To use your word, Jessica, it's like it's time for women to rise and to be, the word also that I've heard for 3 days is unapologetic.
mhm,
No one is going to give us permission except for us. We have to say, I'm ready to do this. I'm moving forward. I'm clearing the pathway for myself and for others. But we've got to say yes to all of it.
that's it.
Um,
That's it.
yeah.
That is it. I got chills while you were saying that too. That theme you all heard echoed
Mhm.
again and again and again this week. And every one of us who taught and who's leading this had a moment where we kind of woke up and we're like, wait, no one's coming to tell us it's time. No one's coming to tell us you're good enough. And that is the truth. And so in this moment, as we talk about the empire, which is the mastermind that we are opening up today, as we talk about this and you feel into it, what I want to mirror to you is to trust yourself. No one is coming to tell you that you're good enough. No one is coming to tell you it's time. That is when true transformation happens, is when you start listening to your inner knowing. Jessica, you talked about knowing today. And that's something I do all the time. Shut out the world. What is my knowing? Take time and money out of the decision. What do I do? That's my knowing. That's my truth. Time and money figure themselves out. But Michelle, to your point about the work that we are doing is clearing generational trauma. It is so real. I remember Bob Proctor said this once and it stuck with me. So like I couldn't shake it. He said, what you don't heal, your children will inherit. And it's not like a guilt thing, but oh my, I tell you what, there's some stuff in our family right now that we are clearing. And I am committed like never before to shifting things for my kids, to being unapologetic about doing everything needed for them, simultaneously growing my empire. You can do both. You can have it all. And the work that you do benefits generations, 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 generations. So there's so many beautiful things in this chat. Michelle is saying, I will start my generational healing podcast. Yes. Angela, live my purpose in all aspects of my life, including turning it into my life's work. Beautiful. Megan, my voice within the world. My heart is radiant, soft, and warm. I am healing generational trauma through the power of the Holy Spirit. Beautiful. Um, let's see, Kath, I'd finally be able to be a mommy. Wow, it's been a soul need of mine since I was born in this world. Look at that. I mean, what a gift. Like, does it get any better than that, right? Susan, finally showing up freely and empowered, allowing myself to express and share out of love, building a profitable business. Yes, yes, yes. Use my God-given gifts to serve and elevate others, empower my clients, my family. Wow, 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 wow. I just want to, let me see here, writing a novel on multi-generational trauma and how to break it. Wow. One of the things that's been so fun to see and hear this week is we've heard multiple women say, I never thought about building an empire for myself, or I never stopped to define it. My mom is here. Mom, you don't have to come off mute, but can I? I won't totally put you on the spot. Can I share high level what you shared with me last night? You just type yes in the chat. I'm not going to give too many details. Or you can type no. But my mom defined empire for herself, and I thought it was really cool. Um, it really, really moved me. And what I want to say, okay, thank you. I just thought, I was like, I want to share this because I texted Jessica and Michelle and I said, this to me was like the kind of pinnacle. It was like the capstone. Yesterday, my mom and I were talking last night, and mom, hopefully you don't mind I share your age. So my mom is 75, and my mom said something to the effect of like, I've never thought about what an empire would be for me. But what you said was the gist of it was really helping and impacting other people. And I thought, how powerful and how beautiful that we get to, as women, redefine empire, define it for ourselves, step into unapologetic wealth expansion, business success, if that's your path, while simultaneously raising a family, if that is your path, being with your kids. Maybe you want to homeschool your kids. Maybe you want to put them in a different environment than you were in. Maybe you want to give and impact and contribute more and be able to just donate in ways that feel really big and generous to you because you feel called. That is your empire. And we are here to help support you in building it. So I want to invite Jessica and Michelle. And we'll keep this like really brief if we can, like 30 seconds a minute each, just about for you, why you're feeling so lit up and inspired about this right now and about this mastermind that we're creating.
I'm ready to
Go
go
ahead.
here.
Okay, yes.
It's because I see, like, I support high performing women, women that are ready to step into big things, have already done big things, are, consistently reinventing themselves. But they keep bumping up against, the longevity of the transformations that they experience, or they bump up against this ceiling again and again and again. And when I talk to these women about why that is, it's because they're doing so many different things, right? They're investing in themselves. Many women that I work with invest in themselves. However, they're not integrating. They're not integrating. So they're just kind of bouncing from one to the other. They're spending time in this masculine energy of hustle, go, go, go. And then they're like, I don't want that anymore. They're going over to the feminine. They're playing over there. They ascend, but then they never descend and do, and figure it out. They don't learn. And I see Missy's on today. Missy and I talk all the time about the paradox and how really, it's about this tension in the middle of this masculine and feminine energy and integrating those two things. So and I think this is why the three of us have been called to do this together, is because we have a beautiful mix of masculine, feminine, inside, outside, and integrating and bringing all those things together into one. And this is what women need. This is what women need to collapse time, to take their 10-year plan and put it into 6 months.
Ooh, even just getting ready to speak, I want to cry right now because you tapped into something for me. Women, and I don't know what this is. I have a fire for women. There is something about it's a fire inside of me. I'm done being suppressed. And I remember when I started my business so many years ago and I was seeing clients one on one, and someone said to me, "Oh, what do you do?" And I said, "Oh, I just see clients." And they said, "Oh, so you're an entrepreneur." And in my brain, I thought, this is again 15, 20 years ago, 20 years ago probably. I thought, well, I'm not an entrepreneur. Isn't that a man's thing? It was such this like little girl saying it. And when that guy, can still see him, when he said that to me, I was like, wait, I am an entrepreneur. And that was when this whole claiming of, wait a minute, I want a seat at the table. And I realized how many women I've worked with over the years, again, 3 decades worth of a long time, but we don't feel good enough. We don't feel like we matter. We don't feel like we can. We don't feel like that we deserve. We have to do all these other things. And again, I don't hate men. I'm not here to bash men at all, but there is a consciousness. And I go back to that phoenix. It's time for us to rise. It just feels like we got to bring things back to balance. And the way that we do that is to work with us, the three of us. And it is because I wish I had us. I look back and I'm like, I was thinking about this today and I was like, damn, I wish I had myself and you two 15 years ago, 20 years ago to lead me because it would have been a heck of a lot easier. But what we need is to have that vision. What we need is to clear out these limiting beliefs that are blocking us and stopping us from stepping into our fullest potential. What we need is the embodiment. And we don't know how to do that. I realize there aren't people doing this out there. The three of us together, I'm like, wow, I really mean it, everybody on this call. I really mean it. This is such a divine assignment. I get why we were tapped to do this. So for me, it's this fire of lighting up other women, helping them to rise to their fullest potential. I wish I had that for myself and I had to do it and I got it. I'm here now, but I'm always growing as well. I'll always grow. I'm not at the end, right? But yeah, it makes me want to cry, but I'm not gonna go there right now. But yeah, it moves me deeply to carry women and bring them to their highest potential.
It's important and it's for a reason. And things are shifting. I know you said this, Michelle, and this is so true. Things are shifting planetarily, things are
Yeah.
shifting in collective consciousness. And we are all being invited to no longer settle for what doesn't fully light us up, to think that we have to suppress or play small. I saw a lot of women this week saying, I'm done playing small. And that, I will tell you, that is when your life will change, when you decide you are done playing small. So we're going to take a few moments, drop a one in the chat if you'd like to hear more about the mastermind and what it includes. We're going to talk about it for a few minutes here. Beautiful. Tell you how you can apply. We are opening up for applications today. So I'll share more about it and how you can know if it's for you. When I was thinking about this, I was like, it feels like three pillars kind of that we're bringing in. And so we're just going to very briefly each speak about what sort of transformation is happening within each of these pillars of the work, because you're working with all three of us in this. So for myself, my sweet spot, my mojo is sales, business, money, wealth consciousness, women unapologetically having it all. But I tell you what, we're going to do it from way more feminine energy than masculine energy. So any of my ladies out there who are like, I'm hustling, I'm grinding, or I came from a really male dominated background, like that was my background. That's why I do this work now. When I was in that energy, I stayed capped and stuck for 10 years. When I discovered how to lean into and leverage wealth energetics, spiritual approach to business, feminine energy, the work that Michelle and Jessica are going to be integrating as well, that's when I turned my annual income into my monthly income in 6 weeks. So if you want a quantum leap in terms of money, business, wealth, or maybe you're like a mama who wants to have it all, that is what I am here for. Jessica, you want to share the transformation women experience with
Yeah,
you?
the embodiment piece.
Yeah.
So I hold space with women and teach them how to fully step into their power and embody it. Um, to be able, and women to be able to look in the mirror every single day and see how beautiful they are and not feel like they want to hide any part of themselves, but that they want to highlight all the best pieces and show up and leverage their uniqueness in service of others. And that really is my sweet spot. And I like to be that mirror for other women until they can see it for themselves. I operate both in masculine and feminine energy. I'm very action based, very action driven. I'm also a super connector. And I love watching women rise together. Um, I think I described that. I might have missed something, but that's kind of it in a
I think
nutshell.
that's, if I can just say one quick
Yes,
piece of
please.
that, and then Michelle, I want you to share the connections piece. And I don't think we even necessarily
Mhm.
thought about with this, but I
Yeah.
have invested what this mastermind investment is to literally just be able to
Mhm.
be connected with other people
Yeah.
like that. And that's going to
Mhm.
happen here, that we've all got a really good sphere. Even that in and of itself is like one introduction can change your whole life to the
Yeah.
point of the opportunities you spoke about earlier, Jessica. Michelle, share about the transformation that women will
Mhm.
experience with you.
Yeah, something that I realize, and again, there's a lot of claiming that I've done over the years, and that's what I'm going to invite everyone to do, to really claim your superpowers and unapologetically again. Something that is my superpower is I'm able to sense and go there and find the blocks. I sense the energy where the limiting beliefs are, and I go get them. I can go get them, I dismantle them, and then we rebuild from there. So true transformation happens on the inside because you got to remember what's showing up out there is simply a reflection of what's in here. It's like I can just sense it. I can sense it. I can feel it. That is what I'm great at. And it's such a beautiful journey to watch people shift on some of these big core beliefs that they don't even know that they have. Most of us, most humans, don't even know why we have this external reality. It is because of what was planted in us at at a very young age. So that is what I love doing. I love helping people to step into their fullest potential and watching them bloom. We don't even know how much that we can bloom. It's so exciting to watch people, though. It's just like when they say, I had no idea this is who I was. Yeah. So, yeah. And it is, again, I want to also just say one more thing about that generational. It's that generational trauma. Our lineage is connected to us like an anchor. We clip it, it's gone.
Mhm.
So then we can move forward and fly.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And all of this is anchored in vision. So we are kicking off and beginning the whole experience with an incredibly powerful 2026 visioning ceremony for you, where we're connecting with best and highest, like better than the best you can imagine for yourself right now. So we're creating that container, that vision for you, again, collapsing that 10-year timeline into 1 year. What does that look like? From that place, we coach you. From that place, we support you. From that place, I help you with the business side, the sales, the wealth energetics. Michelle helps you clear anything that would stand in the way. Jessica helps you step into it, embody it now. So there's kind of this triad. I saw, I don't know who, yeah, Catherine said the power of three. I think that's why this is being called to happen right now. Jessica, do you want to take a minute and speak about the woman who this is for? Like, who are we serving here? And I want to be very, very clear. You do not have to be like, there's a lot of women in our sphere and community who are high
Yeah.
powered CEOs, entrepreneurs, top sales leaders doing the thing. And it's not just for them.
Mhm.
So I would love if you would speak a little bit to who are we serving through this and
Yeah.
who is going to have a real transformation through this.
This is for the woman that has claimed. She's claimed it. She's chosen herself. She's maybe done, she's done big things in her life. And she's ready to take things to a whole other level. Perhaps, she's feeling like she's kind of capped out on what she can do. And she feels like there's something, she's feeling that pull, like there's something more. And she's kind of sitting in it, but she can't quite imagine what it looks like. She can't quite connect to it, but she knows that it's there. And this is the woman that she's ready. She's always ready and willing to do the work because she's always continuously reinvented herself, but she wants to do it again but in a different way, in a bigger way, in a way that she's never seen as possible. Because I think, as human beings, we can only, there's these limiting, beliefs on how much we can achieve because we draw on the past of what we've achieved. Just like when I hit that $80,000 and I thought I couldn't recreate it again because I had never done more. So I had to imagine what it was like. This is for the woman that is ready to be surrounded by other women that are ready to rise with her. This requires the woman that has surrendered to it, that feels the pull, that is trusting it, and feels magnetized to it. She is also the woman that will be okay when the resistance comes up, because let me tell you, in this space, resistance will come up. But the reason why all three of us are here is to hold that space and move through with you as that happens. And I can tell you, we each have the ability to hold the space with you, to see you as the highest version of you, even before you can actually see it. Does that explain? I guess I explained it at a very deep, high level.
That's it. Well, because it's perfect because it's not a mastermind for like women in a certain industry or category or moms or a business. It's for a woman who's at an energetic space in her life, like you described. So that's perfect. That's perfect. I think that hit the nail on the head. So here's what it includes. Again, it's application only. All right, we're taking 14 spots. After they're filled, we're done. All right, we were told God, source, universe, spirit, 14. So that's what we're capping it at. All right. There's two different levels. We'll tell you about the two different levels here now and how you can apply. So both of the levels include 6 months of elite mentorship with all three of us. We have group calls, 3 to 4 group calls a month that you can join live. You also get the recordings of course, if you're not able to join live. The regular level of the mastermind, you have 3 group calls a month. The VIP level, you have an extra. So we're going to talk about VIP and what that is in a minute. So we've got an extra call just for VIPs every month. Each of us leads one of those monthly calls. So I'm doing my thing with my people. We're doing vision, expansion, business, wealth, sales, making more money. Michelle, you're clearing anything that stands in the way of what you desire. Jessica, you're stepping into it, embodying, rising, ascending. Which is a really powerful mix. So you're going to feel a similar feel every month through the group calls to what we did this week, a similar flow, which I think is really fun. And I hadn't thought too much about that until now, but it's true. You get 2 luxurious retreat tickets. There are going to be 2 live events held with this over the course of the next 6 months. The first one is in February in Florida, which, as a woman who's based in Maine, I cannot tell you how excited I for that. I was like, we can't do that retreat in Maine because no one's going to want to come. So 2 beautiful retreat tickets that you get to come to and be in our energy live for several days while we host these events and be with the other women as well. There is a private community. Angela, the first retreat is February 27th through March 1st in Florida. More details will be released very soon. And when you're on the application call, we can share even more details. The second retreat will be in June, probably in North Carolina. We're firming up the details of that one. But yes, very good question. There's a private community. So within this group, we have an app where we're connecting with each other between the calls. So you and your 13 other women who you're going through this with are together, as well as Jessica, Michelle, and myself in there supporting you. And it's an extremely curated transformational path that you're taking. Now, with the VIP level, there's 3 of these available, 3 spots. We were told 3 VIPs. So that's what we're doing. You receive all of that plus private access. Who here, drop a 1 in the chat if you're like, I like private access. I like having direct connection to people. So yeah, me too. I'm a private access kind of gal. So for the VIP level, in addition to all of that, you receive a private in-person intensive with each of us over the course of the 6 months. This is kind of big, y'all. I love how Laura's like unapologetically one. Yeah. It shifts. If you're someone where you're like, I know I do really well with private support, one-on-one focused attention, this is really, really big. You get a private intensive with each of us in person over the course of the 6 months, which is really, really powerful. You get private, we use an app called Marco Polo, private access to us for coaching, for support. This is big, y'all. Like Michelle doesn't offer private anymore. The fact that she's even doing this and available for this. For some context, my private coaching is 150,000 for the year. I think Jessica's is probably similar. Michelle doesn't offer it anymore. So in this level, you're getting private access so you can have support from all three of us, plus expanded resources, bonuses. We're going to give you some really cool goodies that you get as well. So we like to surprise and delight and not give too much away up front, but you're going to receive that as well. So again, capped at 14. We're going to drop a link in the chat in a minute for how you can go in and submit your application if this is speaking to you. There's two different levels. So VIP level, paid in full, 33K. There's also a payment plan available for that. Did I say regular or VIP? That's the regular level. VIP level, 111,000 for the 6 months. There's also a payment plan available for that as well. The other thing that I will mention is, and we'll talk about investing in yourself in a minute, never let money be the reason why you do not pursue what it is that you want. You take time out of it, you take money out of it. What is it that your soul is telling you? If it's a yes, then you pursue this, and the how comes afterwards. Most of our clients will use credit cards, savings, whatever they got. We have a funding partner. If you're like, oh my gosh, this is speaking to me, I can only imagine the transformation I would have. I don't know the how right now. We have a funding partner, and I'll drop their a link in the chat in just a minute, where they actually specialize in personal development funding specifically. It does not touch your credit or impact you to find out what you qualify for with them. So if you're like, hey, I'm just curious, if I wanted to get some additional support to help me fund this, what it would look like. It takes like 3 minutes. You fill out an application. They can help you, tell you what your options are, if that is something that is supportive to you as well. Now, we are opening up our calendars for application calls now through the 19th. So 1 week, and then I'm in holiday mode. I know like everybody, Jessica is, Michelle is. We have space on our calendars now through the 19th to take calls. The link to apply is theempiremastermind.com. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the chat right there. If you go to that link, there you go. Thank you, Lauren. Look at that. Lauren is so on top of it. Theempiremastermind.com. That will take you to the application form. You fill out the application form. It'll take probably, I'd say 3 to 5 minutes, maybe a little more if you want to give us like all the details, but not a huge thing. We will review, and we will get back in touch with you if we think it could be a good fit, and we'll set a time to chat and to connect within the next week. And then the funding partner, let me just grab this link as well. And we'll send all of this in the replay email as well. Lauren, if we can be sure to send this link out too for anyone who needs that. But here's what I want to say. And I'd love for Michelle and Jessica to maybe share about the first time you invested in yourself and the like at a level that felt stretchy, and what happened on the back end. And I know we've got just like 5 minutes. And if anyone has a question, you can type it in the chat now, and also book a call. Even if you don't know the how, but you're like, this is speaking to me, book an application call. It's not like, this is very much, let's find the right fit. It's not a pressure type of thing at all. I want to be clear on that. If your soul is telling you, oh my gosh, I want this, book a call. Let's talk about it. We'll support you from there. But if you do have a question now, drop it in the chat and we can answer as much as we can. You're welcome, Megan. Absolutely. We'll answer as much as we can before the end of the call. Oh, one thing I want to say, and then I want you both to speak. There's 14 spots. There's over 300 women registered for this week. Like I just checked this morning. Obviously not everyone comes on live to everything, but if it is speaking to you, put in your application today. Like get it in. It's first come, first serve, as long as it's a good fit. When it's full, it's full. We are doing a fast, I keep thinking of things. Like I want you to speak, but I keep thinking of things. One other thing, we are doing a bonus for those who apply and are accepted before the holidays. On the 28th, we are doing a bonus call, a really special bonus call, December 28th. I never do calls on Sundays. And for some reason, it was like, this one has to be on this day to help you start really stepping into your 2026 visioning now. So that is a fast action bonus for those who are applying now and accept it now. Again, there's a payment plan available. There's a deposit plan available. We'll help you with the logistics of it. If it's speaking to you, apply. Michelle, you want to share for like a minute about the first time you invested in yourself in a way that felt stretchy and what happened?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. The first time I invested in myself, it was a huge amount of money. It was over six figures. And I felt like I was going to throw up and it was so tight. And then it just normalized. And you know what kind of reminds me of when I was talking yesterday about the first time I posted on Facebook, it literally was the same feeling. Like, what am I doing? Is this crazy? Yada, yada, yada. And I did it. And then it normalized. And what I realized is from a vibration or an energy level, we rise up to that and it is normalized. It just becomes a normal thing. It's not uncomfortable. And that's why I always say follow the energy, follow your heart. If it
Yeah.
feels right, it may not make logical sense. Just follow. That's your soul speaking. That's your soul guiding. That's
Yeah.
what we want to listen to. And that's what I did when I invested over six figures. So
Mhm.
that's
Yeah.
yeah.
Go ahead, Jess.
I remember that internal struggle of like wanting to invest and then feeling like I couldn't. And it was two different things. It was like the two different things we're talking about, on these calls, like chin up. I was thinking, when I was thinking, I felt, unworthy. I felt like, who am I to invest this in myself? How am I ever going to make this money back? I need this money for my family. But there's something to be said, and I use this acronym, WAIT. And we were talking about waiting today, but there's more to wait. Why am I thinking? So when I get in, like I catch, I need to like keep myself accountable. And so I remember like doing the wait, like the why am I thinking, and drop down into the knowing. But it was so unknown. It was like a knowing, but not knowing the outcome, right? So it was a surrender as well. And then I remember the feeling because the first part of the investment was an intensive. And I remember day one of the intensive, it was like, I have to get so much out of this because I spent so much money. I was like gripping. And day two, I went, and like Michelle said, I normalized it. It changed everything. It wasn't just the results that I got from the investment, it was my mind shifted. And so now, when it comes to investing, because I've seen the power of it, I was able to quadruple my income that year. And the year that I invested 40,000 and I didn't like really have that. I didn't really have that to do. But then quadrupled it. And I was like, oh my gosh, well, this makes sense now why it's so important.
Yeah. One of the things I love that you both shared that. One of the things we see in our community again and again and again is when women invest, they flow it out, it circulates back. And there's an energy when you invest in yourself that's really important where you're circulating it. There's a universal law called the law of circulation, which means, and this is some of the wealth energetics work we'll do. When you flow money out, you see it coming back multiplied, and you can literally step into that energy. We had a woman in our community who had never broken a 10K month in her sales career, and she played with that when she invested a 5-figure investment in herself and is doing 25, 30K months a couple months after that. This is the energy. And I know we're at time. I'll wrap in 1 or 2 minutes. I remember the first time I invested in myself at a 6-figure level. And Michelle, I love how you were like, it felt so big at the time, but it doesn't feel big anymore. This is what's important. The first time I did that, it felt huge. It was everything I had made the entire year. I didn't have the money sitting around. I figured out how to pull together a deposit on a credit card and was like, oh my gosh, I don't even know how I'm going to do this. But there was a knowing. I listened to the knowing. And the reason why I did it was my heart was telling me, even though my fear was crazy loud, remember, intuition isn't loud, fear is loud. Your intuition is soft and quiet. It's your knowing. This is really important. My intuition was telling me you need to do this to disrupt the old patterns of feeling unworthy of support at that level. It was in that process of making that investment and saying, I am a woman who invests six figures in herself, and the regular level of this mastermind isn't even close to that. But I am a woman who does that. In that process, I turned my annual income into my monthly income in 6 weeks because who I was in the process of investing transformed. That was it. So I say all of that to say, I know we are at time. We love you. We support you. We are here. We are so ready, lit up, on fire, excited about this mastermind. I cannot even tell you. Michelle, Jessica, if you both want to just prepare to come off mute in a second and share like just any final closing thoughts. If you are feeling called, we want to talk to you. So fill out the application, theempiremastermind.com. We have been tapped to do this. We know that there's 14 of you who are meant to do this. Like that's what we know. And so if you are feeling that call, that is spirit, God, source, universe, the how comes after you decide. All right. It really does. Book the call. Let's talk. We cannot wait to help support you in building your empire in 2026. Jessica, Michelle, anything final you want to say before we wrap?
I'm just so excited for what's to come. I'm so excited. I know what's possible for these women just because I've seen transformations happen over and over again. I've seen women go from believing, having these belief systems to then realizing that's not the truth and then changing their entire lives. This is bigger. I know this is bigger than even what my mind has imagined. And I can imagine a lot. That's my superpower. But it's bigger. It's bigger. Collectively, it's bigger than any of us could fathom. And
I
I'm
just want
excited.
I just want to piggyback on that because I know we're over time. I won't be long, but I feel the same way. It is 2026. Can I just say astrologically is big? And to come into 2026 with this collective group of 14 plus the three of us, oh my God. Like, I don't even have words. It just feels big. It feels expansive. It feels like we're blowing the ceiling off of everything. It's so exciting. So I personally cannot wait. There's just so much greatness coming in 2026. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Chills, 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 chills. Yes.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
We love you. We appreciate you. We can't wait to connect with those of you personally who are feeling called. Reach out, ping us, DM us if you have questions on anything. We are here to help support you. So much love. Let's go build our empires.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.